During this lesson, I'm going to show you exactly how I rank websites in Google Maps, also known as the Google 3-pack. If you follow these methods, you will be able to rank your website in the Google 3-pack in as little as 7 days. My name is Brett Milletta, and I have been ranking websites in the Google 3-pack since 2013. And while Google has gone through some major algorithm changes since 2013, some factors still remain the same. Your website needs to have your address and hours listed on it. Your Google My Business page must have your name, address, and phone number, and it must be consistent with your website. Your citations such as Yelp, Merchant Circle, Manta, Yellow Pages, and hundreds of other citation listings must have the same name, address, and phone number. Let's get started. Okay, so thanks for joining me today. My name is Brett Milletta, and we want to speak about how to get our business in the Google 3-pack. You know, over 67% of all local visitors are clicking right in this area because these are the local people. So if they're looking for a local plumber, a local lawyer, local electrician, or even a dump truck service, they're going to type that into the search box up on top, and these are the local guys or girls. Okay, and while there may be a lot of competition, if we click more places, we want to make sure that we get found right here when doing a local search. This client that we're going to examine today is Faztech Industries. We did the SEO on the website. I didn't design the website, but I did the SEO on the website. So we'll be talking about how we got them ranked, and I'm just going to show everything that you need to do. Now, the reason why it's so important to be in the Google 3-pack is not only for the desktop version, which we're viewing right now, but it's also for the mobile version. If you press F12 on your keyboard, you'll be able to see what your website looks like in the mobile version. So that's what I did right there. So this is how a Google search looks on your phone. If you type in dump truck service and you do a search, these are the pay-per-click up on top here. Here's the map section. Google has implemented a pay-per-click in the maps section also, so you'll notice that somebody who's not in our local area, we're in Staten Island, New York, somebody in Trenton, New Jersey bid for this keyword to be here. Okay, this is an ad. Okay, so the first one found is Faztech Industries, also on mobile. The great thing about being found in the Google 3-pack as opposed to being in the organic search, which is right here, or the pay-per-click, which is up here, is this little button right here, tap to call. You see, if somebody's doing a search and they're busy doing something else, they don't even have to go to the website. All they have to do is tap, and they'll be able to call on a mobile device. So you want to be found in the Google 3-pack. It's going to increase your sales. It's going to increase your client sales. So before we even do that, before we even develop a website and speak about that, the first thing we need to do is purchase a domain name. Now you could purchase a domain name through Network Solutions, or you could purchase it through GoDaddy. When purchasing a domain name, if I was to name Faztech, I probably would have named it, instead of Faztech Industries, I probably would have named it something to the effect of Staten Island Dump Truck Service for Hire, or We Haul Staten Island Dump Truck Service. This way it has the town name and what you do in the domain name, without it being an exact match domain name. I certainly wouldn't have called it just Dump Truck Service, okay, or Staten Island Dump Truck Service. Okay, so try to get a domain name that has the town and also what you do, if possible. Okay, so you could purchase it through Network Solutions or GoDaddy, make sure though that when you purchase the domain name that you use your exact business address. If we go to Faztech, for example, their business address is 200 Bloomfield Avenue. 200 Bloomfield AVE dot is different than Avenue. Even though this is the abbreviation, Google sees it as different. So whatever you have on the website, please make sure you put in Network Solutions or GoDaddy. Actually, you'll be doing that first. So once you set up your address, make sure you know that that's the address you're going to use and you want to use it for your website. So when we're talking about getting in the Google 3-pack, probably the most important thing you could do is set up your Google My Business page correctly. Once again, the Google 3-pack is right here, also known as Maps, was also known as Places. Okay, so we want to set up the Google My Business page. The first thing that you want to do is go to google.com/business and click the Start Now button. I pre-did all the pages already, so you don't have to wait for me to type. You're going to come to a page like this where you put in your business name. You put in your exact business name. You put in the country, your street address. Now realize that when you put in your suite address, if you have a suite number 3, if that's not on your website, do not put it here. The address on your website has to be exactly the same as your Google My Business page. If you have a Google My Business page right now, I suggest that you look at it. Make sure that your address is exactly the same. Either change your Google My Business page or change the address on your website. But they have to match. Type in the city, the state, the zip code, the phone number. If you have an 800 number on your website and you can use a local number, I would suggest you use that. Then you put in your category. So for the dump truck service, I put in dump truck service, for example. You add the URL. Do you deliver goods? Yes, and you click continue. When you click continue, you're going to go to a page. I didn't want to bring up his page, so I just created a quick page. You're going to come to a page like this, and you are going to notice this is where you could add your hours of operation, the phone number, the website. You can make all your changes. You can manage phone numbers. You could also add a virtual tour here, and I'm going to speak to you about that at the end. This is a super pro tip. This is a ninja tip, as they say. They say ninja. I hear that a lot in this industry. Okay, so when you click the edit button, this is where you come to the page where you could edit all the information, and it's very self-explanatory. This is where Tippy's Wine Shop, you can change the name. So if you made a mistake on your page a year ago, you could come here and you could make that change. You could change the category. Serving customers within 50 miles. You could add the hours. Okay. Okay. You could add the phone number or change the phone number, the website address, and add photos. Now, in regards to adding photos, this is really super important. You want to add as many photos to your Google My Business page as possible. It's not uncommon to add over 150 pictures. You want to make sure that you're using a camera that records the location and the coordinates. Like a cell phone will do that. Because when you upload those pictures, Google knows where those pictures are coming from because your camera, your cell phone, adds coordinates to that picture. It's a great way to solve a crime also, by looking at pictures and getting the coordinates off the pictures if you're doing an investigation on somebody. All right. So hopefully I can get back to that page. Okay, got it. Right. So you fill out all the information. Okay. You fill out all the information. Okay. And then you just click update. like I said before, just make sure that you put in all the photos. Now, here's the pro tip. Here's the thing that you're going to go crazy over, that not a lot of people know. So you want to listen to this. Watch this. If you do a Google search for Google Trusted Photographers, you'll come to a page called google.com/Street View Hire. And these are photographers employed or subcontracted by Google. If you click Hire right here, which I believe I already did, right? If you click Hire, you're going to come to a part of the page right here. Find a trusted pro in your area. So there's nobody in Staten Island that's a trusted pro, so the next borough closest would be Brooklyn, New York. So I found several right here. And what I would do is email and or call each one of them. They charge usually around $500 to $800 to come to your location and take pictures for your virtual tour. But here's the pro tip. The pro tip is that they allegedly have a control panel that when they upload the pictures, they're able to tick it off to let Google know that you're a real location. That's real important. So if you're looking for that extra edge, definitely take pictures. Take a bunch of pictures. Make sure that your Google My Business page is done perfectly and the address and everything like that is perfect. But if you want to take it the extra step, buy the virtual tour. Come to google.com/Street View Hire. The address is right here. Street View Hire, and hire a Google photographer to come to your office or your place of business and take pictures. All right, so that was a pro tip. I hope it helped you, and we'll be back for the next section. So in speaking about your website, we're speaking about some of the essentials, some of the must-haves on your website. Local signals back to Google, letting them know where you're located. Well, if you notice, on this FastTech website, we have the 718 phone number. They have an 800 number. We had that removed. We put the 718 phone number. That's a local phone number, local area code, and it lets Google know that we're located in Staten Island, New York. The next thing we want to speak about is this H1 tag. You notice that it just says Staten Island, New York. It has a couple of their keywords. We're going to speak about that later on and how it relates to Google My Business. I'm just giving a brief overview right now. On the bottom of the website, you'll notice their address, and their address correlates with the who is. So when you register your domain name, make sure you use the correct address, and then you make sure you take that address and you put it on your website. And lastly is a Google map. I'm going to show you a neat trick later on, but right now I just want to show you how to embed this Google map and put it on your website. If you go to Google and type in My Maps, you'll see the address, which is google.com/mymaps. And once you sign on, I pre-did this to save time, is you'll start to create your map, and you'll get to a page that looks like this. When you get to the top here and it says embed on site, this is the embed code, which you will take and you will place it right here in your footer. This lets Google know where you're located, also lets clients know where you're located. So those are just some simple tricks that you need for your homepage to let Google know where you're located. Okay, so we just set up the Google My Business page, and one of the things that I want to speak to you about is setting up the silo pages. Well, in order to set up the silo pages, these are secret pages just for Google to let Google know this is where we're located and this is what we do. Please rank us. That's basically what we're saying. If we click this edit button in the Google My Business page, you'll notice that you have a primary category, and that's the main thing that you do. So for example, for FastTech, it's it's dump truck service, but they also do roll-off containers in construction, and they have different types of categories. And that's where you would put you would put their extra categories right here, and you keep clicking add another category. Ideally, I would say anywhere from 3 to 5. Don't do more than 5 categories. You're going to water it down. So now we want to speak about setting up a silo page. So since we have the Google My Business page set up with the primary category and the subcategories, 5 altogether, we now want to show Google this is what we do in regards to those categories. We set up a first page which is called the location page, and we called it Staten Island, New York. And when we put that link on the bottom of the footer, and when you click the Staten Island, New York page, it's going to go to a page that says Staten Island, New York, and it explains about FazTech. One of the things that you'll notice are the links: roll-off containers, dumpsters, dump truck rental, and container service. Those are the additional category pages that we set up in the Google My Business page. Right? Okay, so setting up the Staten Island page, I made sure that I put their address. I gave driving directions. I embedded the map. I put the latest reviews in H-card format. We could speak about that at another time. There's plenty of videos on how to do that. Once again, we set up the categories. We put their hours of operation exactly how it is on their website in Google My Business. The types of payments that are accepted. And nearby restaurants, hotels, and bars. These are signals to Google letting them know where we are in the area. It seems to be important to Google that restaurants, hotels, and bars, whenever you do a search, these things come up. So we put them in the nearby places. It kind of zeroes us into that area. Then we also created a video. We went over to Fiverr. We found somebody to do a 30-second speech, basically saying the first paragraph right here. And we titled it Roll-Off Containers, or we titled it The Address. So the title of this video is The Address in this YouTube video. Then we embedded the YouTube video on this page. So it further backs that this is an address page. Once again, we created links to services we provide. These are other silo pages. And then we provided links to other citation pages. For example, here's Yelp, Bing, Yahoo, Foursquare, and Super Pages. We let people know that we proudly serve other areas besides Staten Island. So Google sees us as being able to serve New York City, Brooklyn, Elizabeth, Linden, and Bayonne. When you set up the proudly serving box on the silo page, you want to make sure that you link out to local areas. So for example, for Staten Island, we picked one of the highest ranking Staten Island websites, which is Staten Island, USA. For New York City, it was nyc.gov, and for Brooklyn, it was brooklyn-usa.org. If you can, try to link out to government websites that rank high. It'll give you more authority that you're linking out to those places, and Google sees you as being in that area and serving that area. So prior to 2013, if you wanted to get into the Google Maps section over here, basically all you had to do was make sure that your directory listings or your citations were all exactly the same, meaning that your name, address, and phone number in directories such as Yelp, Merchant Circle, Yellow Pages, Manta, as long as they were exactly the same, your address was listed exactly the same on each directory, that would be a signal to Google saying that this is your exact address. Google was confident, and they would put you in the Google, at the time it was the 7-pack. It got reduced about a year ago to the Google 3-pack. So you really have to know what you're doing. Now you have to be a true player to know what you're doing. Okay, so we're going to take a look at, like I told you, this is our client, actually my client called FazTech, but we're going to take a look at more places, and let's take a look at Richmond Roll-Off. Let's find out why Richmond Roll-Off is not up on the top. They're just outside the Google Maps. So I go to a website called Moz, and it is called moz.com. Hey, you know what? Let me do this for you. I'll show you exactly where you have to go. Okay, so you go to Moz Local, which is up on top right here, and then you click Check My Listings. Okay, you put in the business name. I'm going to put in their zip code, and we now check their listing. And what this is doing right now is just checking all the directories. It's checking Yelp, Merchant Circle, Factual, Hot Frog, Localese. There are thousands of directories, and it's checking the listings to making sure that the name, address, and phone number, including the website address, is consistent with what's on the website and what's on their Google My Business page. So if we just give it a second, it will check the listing, and we'll see what's going on. Geez, why is this taking? I guess I'm not the only one doing this morning. Okay, so it finally went through, and we now see Richmond Roll-Off. Their website, their Google My Business page is verified. We will click Richmond Roll-Off, and we will see that the website address is richmondrolloff.net. This is their address and their phone number. Out of 100%, they had 58% of their citations are complete, meaning that the name, address, and phone number is the same on their website and a Google My Business page. However, 28% is incomplete, 12% is inconsistent, and they have 1% duplicates, meaning that they may have a duplicate 2 Facebook pages, let's just say. But let's take a look. So, and they're incomplete. One of their problems is that on Bing, they need to add more pictures. So Moz Local basically tells you what you need to do. Okay, so each one, add pictures. Over here is probably add categories. In Hot Frog, they want you to add categories. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to go to each one of these directories, and you'll need to fix the citations. You could do this by hand. It takes a little while. You could have a virtual assistant do that, fix your citations. So you would need to create a best of the web directory listing, a Foursquare, and it looks like they need a Google Plus page. Okay. This is just a snapshot of what you need. These are the ones that are inconsistent. So we had said before that Richmond Roll-Off, the web address was .net. If you notice on Localese, someone put richmondcontainer.com as the address for Richmond Roll-Off. So while that may be they may have another domain name, it's not consistent with this address. You'll notice in Hot Frog, it's missing an address. In Yelp, the address seems to be written different. Okay, here we go. The zip code is 10314, whereas the zip code on their website is 10312. In Super Pages, I guess it's just missing the website, and the phone number looks different. So if you go through all these, it'll show you the differences. And let's go to duplicates. Okay, so it looks like there's a duplicate in Hot Frog. There's 2 Hot Frog listings. That's the last thing you'd want, is 2 Hot Frog listings. That should be my biggest problem in life. Okay, so a great tool for finding citations, especially in your industry, is once again in Moz. So if you go to Moz and you type in directory, I think it's directory listings. Okay. No, it's best citations. Okay, if you just go to Moz and type in best citations by category, if Richmond Roloff and FazTech were construction, they are construction companies, I'll click construction. And under construction, these are the directories that you need to be in. So Yellow Pages, Service Magic, Manta, Super Pages, B2B, and you can read the rest. Angie's List. You don't need to sign up for these services. For example, I know Angie's List and Service Magic are a paid service. You could just use the free listing that they offer. They're going to call you 1,000 times and tell you how to enhance their listing. However, you don't need to do that. You're just doing it for the citation. Okay? So that is pretty much it. You could also do what's called a Google search. I'll show you 2 other tricks. Because I'm a nice guy. All right. So you could type into Google best citations. Okay. I clicked White Spark, and they will show you, I guess, okay, in here. You got to play around with it a little bit, but these are the best citations for accountants and advertising, and so you could just fool around with that and you could add your citations. Another thing that you may want to do, something that I do once in a while, if you don't want to do it by hand, you need to send this person a list. If you go over to Fiverr and you sign in, there's a girl called Virtual Girl. I think she's located in the Philippines. And for $5 or $10, she'll do like 40 citations by hand. So what you'll need to do is send her the pictures. You'll need to send her the exact address and send her all the directories that you want to be found under. She'll send you back a spreadsheet with the usernames and passwords for each directory. And you could go in and check just to make sure that it's right. But she's very accurate. Once again, her name is Virtual Girl. Let's see if I could find her here. Probably not, because I'm looking for her right now. I don't need a sexy sweetheart. Let's see. Virtual citation. Okay. Citation listings. So she's around here, Virtual Girl, but you can use anybody. It really doesn't matter. Okay, and it starts at $5. Try to get somebody with a good rating. So level 1. I see they don't have the name, so you have to scroll over to see what the name is. So wherever Virtual Girl is, just do that. Just look over and look for her account. Or like I said, you could use somebody else. But if you don't want to do the citations by hand, go to Fiverr, create an account, go to citation listings up top here, and send somebody the citations that you want to be found under, and they'll create all the citations for you. I hope that helped. You want to try to get at least 100, 150 citations. Okay, guys, I just wanted to throw in a pro tip. This is something that I did. It's not proven to work, but I think it's a great idea in regards to being found in the Maps section of Google. is not only having your citations 100% verified, but also creating maps. So for example, Google has Google Maps, but do you know Apple has maps, Bing has maps, Facebook, Foursquare, Instagram, and Yelp. Now you could go over to Fiverr and you could have somebody create the map listings for you for $150. I see one right here, this fella Armin, $39.39. However, you could probably do it yourself, or you could find somebody cheaper, but I just wanted to show you that there are people that do these listings for you. And I think it's a great idea to make sure that you have a map listing for each one of the services that have maps. So that's just a pro tip. You could ignore it or you could do it, but I would suggest to do it. Even if you did it on your own, set up a map for each one of these. Enjoy your pro tip. Reviews. One of the things that's really important is getting reviews for your website on Google. But unless you did a terrible job for a client, they're not going to review you. Naturally, everybody wants to speak out when they're not happy. But when they're happy, they just move on to the next service. So you need to actively ask your clients for reviews. A lot of people don't know how to review your website on Google, so I'm going to show you just a real easy way to show them. Okay? You'll notice the reviews are right here. We should get more for FazTech, by the way. Okay. So if you type in the business name, for example, FazTech, you'll notice on the right side, you'll notice their knowledge card. And you notice right here it says write a review. So actually what you could do is just use the snipping tool and just send somebody an email and say, hey, would you mind please writing us a review after you did a job for them? Please write us a 5-star review. Now I have a buddy that owns a scooter shop out in Montreal, and I told him this trick, and he left out, please write us a 5-star review, and he just asked his clients to write a review. And a couple of his clients wrote a 4-star review. I guess they don't give 5-star reviews. I guess they have very high standards. But you have to let people know to write a 5-star review. Now, if you want to do something even easier, is if you see somebody using an Android phone. So once again, I pressed F12 and I expanded this just for the version, just so you could see it. And if you use your Android phone, if you see somebody with an Android phone, it's real simple. You tell them to put the domain name right in here, and then you just click write a review. And basically, anybody who has an Android phone, this will show up. So relatives are over the house one day, get 2 or 3 people to write a review for you. Just grab their phone, put in your domain name, click write a review. Most people have a Google address, especially if they have an Android account. They have a Google address. If they have an Android phone, and they click write a review, and they could write a 5-star review. Make sure it's a 5-star review. And that is a great tip for getting reviews. Some industries like lawyers and electricians have over 100 reviews. In my industry, the website design industry, same thing, 30, 40, 50 reviews on the small scale, hundreds if you're trying to compete in the city. So try to get as many reviews as possible. I just want you to know that getting reviews, getting the most amount of reviews does not correlate with top rankings. Because I could almost guarantee there's somebody in more places, and I should have checked this before, with more reviews. Okay, look, Trans-American Parts has 29 reviews. And that does not substantiate them to be on top. Okay, so just try to get more reviews than everybody else, because that's another piece of the puzzle. Okay, so if you weren't paying attention the whole lesson, please make sure that you pay attention now, because this is the most important thing that I'm going to teach. This is about setting up your Google Maps. So if you don't already have a Google Gmail account, please set one up. Make sure you're having a Google account. And then you are just going to come up top here and you're going to search for your business. Let's make one up. Tipsy's Beer Pub. I made that up. And we'll notice that Tipsy's Beer Pub. There's no such thing. There's no such listing as Tipsy's Beer Pub. So you will need to create a new listing. And you do that just by clicking this up here and click Add a Missing Place. When you click Add a Missing Place, you'll fill out this form. And then you will get to the point where I will show you, I'll use FazTech as an example. But just in case your business isn't listed or you're not sure if it's listed, that's the way that you check. Okay, so once you've created your business in Google Maps, you will see a button like this that will say Create a New Map. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use one of the businesses that I already have set up, and which is FazTech. You'll notice right away that I didn't call this map, I didn't call this FazTech, that I called it Dump Truck Service. And the reason why I called it Dump Truck Service is that's the category in Google My Business. That's their main category where they're listed under. Okay? So if I click that right there, you'll notice that it says Dump Truck Service, and then underneath it has the name of the business and their address. Okay, so if you're setting up your brand new map, you'll notice right here it says Untitled Map. So if you click the Untitled Map, right here is where you want to add the name of the Google My Business category, and you want to add a description of the business. Now let me show you an example that I did. We'll go back to FazTech for a moment. And you'll notice that it says Dump Truck Service and it has their address right on top. How did that happen? Well, first of all, we put Dump Truck Service, so where it said Untitled, that's where we put Dump Truck Service. Then we put the business name, their exact address, exactly how it appears on their website and in Google My Business, including the phone number. We included a short article. We included our dump truck services. And these are the 4 other categories in Google My Business. Then what we did is we put Now Serving, and we put the areas that they serve. So for example, they're located in Staten Island, New York, but Brooklyn, New Jersey, Linden, New Jersey, Manhattan, New York, and surrounding areas are all within 50 miles of that area. Now if we go back to our example, which is Untitled Map, you'll notice over here it is the first layer. It says Untitled Layer. And that is where you put in the name of the company. So you're just going to put in the name of your business right here. Okay, so we have the Untitled Layer. The Untitled Layer is that's where you're going to put the business name in, and you're just going to put your business name in right here. So if we use FazTech as an example, you'll notice that this is where we put the business name in. In the Untitled Layer, we put FazTech Industries. Now you'll notice that there is a little map icon. If I click that, that's where I put in all their information. So for example, in the pictures, I could put the pictures here. I put video. I could change the color of the map if I wanted to. And here's the edit button. In the edit button, I could put their service, I put their name, where they're located. And here's the thing that I wanted to show you that is very important. It is driving directions. Driving directions. So if I click the driving directions, I am going to put, let me just delete this one. Delete this layer. Okay. Okay. So if I'm going to put driving directions, I am going to edit it right here. Okay, so I'll put in, for example, Staten Island. And I'm going to try to find all the popular places on Staten Island. So here's the Staten Island terminal. I'll click that, and it'll give us driving directions from the Staten Island Ferry Terminal in St. George, to Faztech Industries. And you want to do about 5 of them. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip. I got to do this. I got to give a pro tip. I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to give it a pro. I'm going to give you a pro tip. So, you'll notice that if I was to put in Faztech into the map, you'll notice that it says nearby. And when I click nearby, I spoke to you before, I said that restaurants, hotels, bars, and pubs seem to be very important to Google. I guess it's a good sign to let Google know where you're located. So here is Faztech Industries. And I would try to put in a couple of restaurants that were close to Faztech. So here's a Subway. Here's a Z1 Casanova. I would do directions from there. And then I would also do directions, for example, from hotels. So there's a Hilton Hotel located not too far from them. I would do hotels also. Okay, so here's the Hilton. And I would do some hotels close to them. So after you finish creating your map, what you want to do is click this share button. This is super. You need to change where it says private. You need to change that to public. Okay? And then click save. If you remember anything that I've said probably this whole video, please make sure you change the access and make it public. It starts off at private. You need to make it public. So we just created a very powerful Google map. We added all the features that Google is asking for pictures and driving directions and videos, descriptions, and their address, the business address. Now we need to do something with that Google map. We need to circulate that map across the web so Google recognizes it and starts to raise your rankings. Very simply, you go to these 3 dots and you go to embed my site. Once clicked, this is the code for your Google map that you created. You right-click it and you copy. Then you come over to a service like Fiverr and you need to do 3 things. You need to embed this map on a Web 2.0. So you find a gig, for example, right here, Libero is one. Here's another one, C. Stewart. Pick who you want and send that code over to them so they can embed that map on their Web 2.0 and circulate it throughout the web. The next thing that you want to do, number 2, is social shares. You want to send that map out so people could share it socially. So if you type in social shares, once again, you'll find somebody that will share your content. And you pick that person, you send them over the map. The last thing that you will do is backlinking. You need to create links going back to your map. Now, 100,000 links, I personally wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't think that Google is going to remove you from the maps for having too many links. It doesn't make sense. But you know what? I would pick somebody smaller. You know what? In fact, I've used this guy before. BL Boss. B as in boy, L as in love, Boss. And he does like 30 high PR9 ranks. And you want to give him the code. You may have to write a short article with the code and they'll blast it out. So just find somebody that's reasonable to send out those links. And those are the 3 things you want to do. You want to do the Web 2.0s, you want to do social shares, and you want to do high PR backlinking back to your map. You want to do that anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And you know what? I would take it probably up to about 8 weeks. And then every once in a while, you'll just need to maintenance it. Maybe every 2 or 3 weeks or a month, you'll just need to rebuy a package and just to give it a little boost. In the meantime, you'll keep getting reviews, because that is super important. Just keep getting reviews.